A police department under investigation. Their use of force on suspects appropriate or excessive? That's the question asked for more than 3 years. A community reeling and pushing for change, like this man arrested by Muncie police in May of 2018 who spoke to us earlier this year.
Told me to step out, and I stepped out, and they just started pummeling me. You know what I mean? Pretty much just beating me down.
4 Muncie officers now awaiting trial, either accused of excessive force or accused of covering it up. So where does Muncie go from here?
The answer is, let's all work together. That's the answer.
From a station working for you, this is a WRTV Investigate Special, Police Under Investigation.
On WRTV's Nicole Griffin, police under investigation in Muncie, Indiana. Years of questions about use of force within the department. This body camera footage from a Muncie police officer is just one of multiple cases under scrutiny for how the city's officers treat suspects. We're showing you how the city of Muncie plans to move forward from this. But first, you have to understand what's happened. We're highlighting 2 cases where excessive force is alleged, updating you on 4 police officers, 2 accused of excessive force and 2 accused of covering it up. All 4 could go to trial sometime in the new year. And we learn about the challenges facing the Muncie Police Department today and where they go from here. We're bringing in WRTV Investigates Kara Kenny right now. And Kara, we know for the past year you've been digging into all of these allegations.
That's right, Nicole. Since 2019, I have been requesting body camera footage from Muncie police regarding several cases where excessive force is alleged. We still have not received all of them, but we did finally get some body camera footage on a case that made headlines in 2018.
That cop's punching me, man.
April 8th, 2018, a witness is rolling as Muncie police arrest Joshua Douglas. When WRTV first reported on Douglas' arrest, Muncie police only gave us this short clip of body camera footage.
Hey, get back over here.
More than 2 years after the incident, WRTV Investigates obtained multiple angles of body camera footage from the incident. It starts as Muncie police are responding to a report of an intoxicated person. Joshua Douglas initially ran away when they approached.
Why'd you run?
Because y'all pull up on me for no reason and doing all this. I ain't did nothing.
All we would have done was just sit there and talk just like what you and I are now. What's wrong with that?
Because all the extra shit is just, I don't be have time for it, man. I'm on parole. I work. I stay out of trouble. I've been out since August.
You being on parole, you take off running, you're just going to catch another case.
I'm just saying.
Right?
Douglas continues to talk to officers while keeping his phone to his ear. Officer Alex Moore's body camera is rolling as he approaches the scene.
Put your phone down.
12. Did it?
Put your phone down. Real quick. Go and put your hands around your back, okay? Put your hands down. Don't pull away from me. Don't.
Stay
Put your
down.
hands down.
Get on your stomach. You hear me? Get on your stomach. You hear me? You hear me? Get on your stomach. Give me your hands right hand up.
Officer Moore, the officer seen punching Douglas, says in his official report he approached after finding a bag of amphetamines and said Douglas tensed and continued to resist. I gave multiple loud verbal commands for Joshua to get onto his stomach, but he refused to do so.
You punching me in my eyes?
Your head, your teeth.
In 2018, after Douglas' arrest, former Chief Joe Winkle told WRTV that the punching was not excessive.
I don't think so. I mean, I think those punches, as long as you're telling him what you want him to do and where they were thrown, that's how we're trained.
Joshua Douglas suffered injuries and physical pain as a result of the arrest, according to an excessive force lawsuit filed against Muncie police in 2019. To help us understand more on the arrest, we shared the footage with Seth Stoughton, a University of South Carolina law professor and former police officer who wrote a book on police uses of force.
When they bring him to the ground, the first thing that sticks out to me is, at best, this individual is tensing his body, but he's not trying to get up. He's not trying to strike the officers. The what appear to be a series of closed-fisted punches to the face are patently inappropriate. It's obviously excessive there.
Stoughton says punches to the head, especially if the person is laying on the ground, significantly increase the chance of serious injury.
So you're actually sort of impacting them in two places at once, the point of contact between the fist and the head, and the point of contact between the head and the ground. It's a bad way to get them to comply because it is very instinctual that when you are getting punched in the face, you hide your face.
Stoughton says the officer escalated the situation.
The officer seemed unnecessarily aggressive to me, jumping immediately to put your hands behind your back.
But the police department was not concerned enough to suspend, demote, or fire any of the officers involved, even after an internal review of the incident.
We do know no outside agencies examined this incident either. Indiana State Police told us they never reviewed this footage, and the FBI wouldn't confirm or deny any participation. We do know no officers were criminally charged in the Douglas incident.
WRTV Investigates uncovered Officer Alex Moore. The officer seen doing the punching had been disciplined twice before. His Muncie police personnel file shows he received a written reprimand in August 2016 for engaging in a physical altercation while off duty. A year later, he was suspended for 80 hours without pay for his role in a domestic dispute that took place while Moore was off duty. Yet Officer Moore kept his job until February 14th of this year. He resigned from the department nearly 3 years after the Douglas incident and after WRTV obtained the footage.
As for Joshua Douglas and this 2018 incident, prosecutors dismissed a resisting law enforcement charge and he pleaded guilty to meth possession. Officer Moore declined to comment to WRTV.
Thanks, Kara. And Kara will stick with us throughout this half hour. The city of Muncie reached a $25,000 settlement with Joshua Douglas, but WRTV Investigates has learned new details about Alex Moore's history with the Muncie Police Department, specifically around the time of the incident with Joshua Douglas. The officer you just saw in that body camera video served as a physical tactics instructor to other officers after the 2018 incident with Josh Douglas. Records show Alex Moore was a physical tactics instructor in 2019 and 2020, even after Joshua Douglas filed a lawsuit against Alex Moore and the city alleging excessive force. Physical tactics includes teaching other officers about how to control a combative subject, such as proper pat-downs, levels of suspect resistance, ways to take a suspect to the ground, information on pressure points, as well as the use of punching and kicking a suspect to gain compliance. Moore also educated other officers on proper use of firearms. Internal records show Alex Moore's name listed as the primary instructor in March of 2019, as well as January, February, June, July, October, and November of 2020. We asked community leader Marwin Strong his opinion.
Do you find it surprising that the department allowed Alex Moore to train officers even after this incident with Joshua Douglas?
It's very surprising what I'm seeing, and what I'm hearing. We need to go back to the drawing board, get back to the drawing board with the chief of police, the chief of police and those other things, and understand how important it is to really, how can they deal with young people.
Both the current and former police chiefs allowed Alex Moore to train other officers on use of force. Current chief Nathan Sloan has declined our request to speak with us, and the mayor has not answered our questions about this. After WRTV began questioning the department about the incident with Douglas, Officer Alex Moore resigned in February of this year and did not face any criminal charges over the incident. In April of this year, a Muncie man shared his story for the first time, saying he was physically assaulted by Muncie police officers in 2018. That man is Manny Montero. Manny spoke to WRTV Investigates in April, which is when federal prosecutors announced they had filed new charges against Muncie police in relation to his case.
May 13th, 2018 is a day Manny Montero will never forget. Muncie police pulled him over for a missing headlight. Montero told WRTV Investigates what he says happened next.
They told me to step out, and I stepped out, and they just started pummeling me. You know what I mean? Pretty much just beat me down.
What's going through your mind while this is happening?
Well, I just wanted to see my family, just think about my son. I didn't understand why they were doing it at first, and I didn't understand what was going on.
This is a photo taken of Montero's face after he was arrested for resisting law enforcement and improper headlights. Montero went to the hospital and had surgery.
A bunch of facial fractures, broken ribs. Yeah, I really can't see too well now, so, you know, they say I got PTSD. I mean, it's definitely changed my life.
Montero filed an excessive force lawsuit against the city and named multiple officers, including Chase Winkle, Jeremy Gibson, Corey Posey, and Sergeant Joe Krasia. Federal prosecutors announced in April they would indict those same officers on new charges. Winkle and Gibson were already awaiting a federal trial for using excessive force while making arrests in 2018 and 2019, while Sergeant Krasia was accused of writing false police reports. The new indictment includes what happened to Manny Montero and accuses Winkle and Gibson of striking Montero in the head with their knees and falsifying their reports in the Montero incident.
I was scared. I thought I was going to die. I thought they were going to kill me. You know, they said I'd never been that scared before in my life. You know?
Montero received a $250,000 settlement check this month from his excessive force lawsuit, but he says it's not enough.
Yeah, I just want to see him convicted.
Prosecutors dropped charges against Montero from that traffic stop in May 2018. He plans to move out of Muncie and hopes the department makes the changes necessary to prevent excessive force incidents.
What do you say to people that say this only happens to bad people?
I mean, I thought that too.
Are you a bad guy?
No, I'm not an angel by any means, but I didn't deserve what happened, and I wasn't doing nothing, you know what I mean? I was taking my brother to the store to get a soda, that's it. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody deserved, you know, to get beat up like that by police.
And Kara, you've been trying for months to get that body camera footage from Montero's arrest.
Yes, Nicole, we've been fighting since 2019 to get it, but the department won't give it to us. They say this case remains a part of the internal investigation of the Muncie Merit Commission, plus it's now part of a federal indictment.
Thank you, Kara. We'll be right back.
Are you concerned about response times and how long it's taking officers to get to where they need to be?
Tough questions for the mayor of Muncie when it comes to protecting the city's residents. WRTV Investigates has been digging into staffing issues at the Muncie Police Department, and we take a look at what our team uncovered.
More than 65,000 people live in Muncie. The city can have 110 police officers, but currently only 86 police officers are on the road.
Are there enough officers on the road, first of all?
Well, no, we are understaffed. There's no doubt.
The city's contract with the police union says the city should have a minimum of 10 regular patrol officers for a 12-hour shift. But there are times the city is not meeting that minimum. Several current and former police officers tell us sometimes the city has only 5 patrol cars for the entire city. Some cars with 2 officers inside, often because a rookie is in training. Other cars have only 1.
Are you concerned about response times and how long it's taking officers to get to where they need to be?
I am worried about the times if we're down to 5. We have 2 deputy chiefs, and both of them and the police chief, Chief Sloan, have been operating in the field to help meet those minimums as best as they can.
Is that ideal?
No, it is not ideal. I would love to see us get up to where we've got 7 or 8 in each shift operating vehicles.
Mayor Dan Ridenauer says the biggest challenge in recruiting and retaining officers is officer pay. Starting pay for Muncie officers is $59,000. Ridenauer says many suburban Indianapolis police departments start at $70,000.
We would have officers that would come in, we'd send them to the trainings, they'd get experience, and after 3 or 4 years, some of the neighboring communities and or counties would recruit them away, because then they have an experienced officer. And our pay is considerably less. One of the things that we did in our first year is we did increase the police officer pay by 11% to help with that recruitment. We were then able to move up a few cities, but we still have a long way to go.
The mayor says the bump in pay also caused some existing officers to increase their pension pay and retire.
And we've added several officers of late, and we hope to continue to do that.
The excessive force incidents in question stem from a prior police chief and former mayor, but Ridenauer says it's had an impact on the department.
Are you looking forward to these criminal cases being resolved?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I look forward to that day. None of this happened from 2020 and beyond, but we continue to pay the price. Our city continues to pay the price. Our residents continue to pay the price. And I definitely am looking forward to the end of all these court cases. We put in trainings that do a lot of work toward de-escalation, toward communication on stops, and how to build those relationships with the public. And so we put in a number of trainings and ethics trainings that are all now required of the Muncie police officers.
Do you feel like that's made a difference?
Oh, I do feel like it's made a difference.
Here's a look at just some of the things we asked the city for in July and haven't received. How many officers have left the department since 2017, broken down by year? Reasons for their departures. The number of budgeted officers per contract each year since 2017. The city attorney told us there is no easy way to pull the information you have requested. The request is voluminous and will require time to pull together. The documents can be made available to you so that you can determine the answers to your questions. Please work with Sergeant Winningham to arrange a time for the review. But when we reached out to Sergeant Winningham, we got no response. The mayor told us he will work on improving transparency and access to information.
I think we're trying to work and go a long way toward improving that. And I think we've made some positive steps.
And the Muncie Police Department is making progress on recruitment. On November 29th, the city welcomed 4 new officers. One thing is clear, the city of Muncie and the people who live there are ready to move on from all of the controversy surrounding the police department, but the question now is how to move on.
I, along with senior digital content producer Andrew Smith and photographer Brad Forrestal, spoke with community leaders to get their ideas.
Jonathan Mitchell leads his community.
The devil does exist.
Whether through worship from the pulpit or as he works on his podcast.
Let us hear what you feel about this situation with policing here in the city of Muncie.
He's a senior pastor at Kirby Avenue Church of God in Muncie.
Hopefully we'll have some dialogue that opens up as a result of it. Justice and humility mean something. Mercy, kindness, that means something. We're going to call this meeting to order.
Mitchell is also the president of the Muncie Police Merit Commission, a 5-person panel that deals with numerous aspects of the police department, including hiring, promotions, and discipline.
Let the record reflect the vote.
Chase Winkle, Jeremy Gibson, Corey Posey, and Sergeant Joe Crasia were indicted for their roles in allegedly using unreasonable force against suspects and falsifying documents to cover up the misconduct.
Can you say whether their cases are pending before your commission?
I am just not comfortable getting into specifics about anything that's going on.
Okay.
I'll just tell you this, as a board, we do our due diligence.
Do you decide whether an officer is put on paid or unpaid leave?
We look at all issues on an individual basis, and that can be a part of the process.
How do you move the community forward?
Part of my job is, as a pastor as well, and as a person who's otherwise connected to the community, is to make sure that people know that they have a right to be involved in the process. And that means that when we do have our meetings, come to the meetings, ask questions. We invite the public. To be honest with you, very few people attend those meetings, and I really wish more people would.
Mitchell says community engagement is the key to getting past this.
I think people need to get more involved. I really do. It's our police department. They are accountable to each and every one of us individually and collectively as a city.
Community leader Marwin Strong says the city needs to hire more officers from Muncie.
And the first thing they could do, they could hire more, more minorities. Because the more neighborhoods you go to, you want to build relationships. You want somebody to look like you, understand you, feel like you. You don't want to have somebody coming from a whole nother town and coming to this town, especially in the low-income areas.
93% of Muncie PD is white, 7% minorities, compared to the Muncie population, which is 83% white and 17% minorities. Muncie PD is also 93% male, 7% female. We asked the chief and the mayor via email what they're doing to improve diversity on the department, and we're still waiting to hear back. Pastor Jonathan Mitchell's term ends at the end of 2021, and he hopes to leave Muncie in a better place than when he joined the commission 3 years ago.
The answer is, let's all work together. That's the answer. To let them know that, we love you, we appreciate what you do. You guys run toward the danger when everybody else is running away.
Kara, what happens next with the 4 officers? We know some are facing excessive force charges, others accused of trying to cover it up.
Well, Nicole, a federal judge recently agreed to push back the trials. They were supposed to start in January of 2022. It's now unclear when those will begin. I'll continue to follow up on any new developments in this case.
Thanks for joining us.